here and about at 3 o'clock for me to get off from work. Why couldn't you let her stay over here with me and put one of them other women over there with that other lady that didn't know how to put up?
Mm-hmm.
He said, well, if you don't want to train them, put them somewhere else. I said, well, suit yourself. I turned around and walked off. I come home that day, I told my husband about it. Every day, long it lasts before I retired, every day I'd come home, I'd be all upset. I told him about it. He said, it's a wonder they don't fire you. I said, I reckon that'd be the best thing they ever done for me.
Well, so were you having to train the workers? Because had they not worked in a mill before, or they just hadn't worked in a spinning room, or what?
You know what?
Now, when you were training these workers, was it because they hadn't worked in a mill before, or they just hadn't worked in spinning, or?
Well, when they hire a person, they whatever department they hire them in, that's the department they work in.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I'd learn somebody how to do the work, and I'd have them on the side, then they'd put them somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
They'd take them away from me and put them over there with somebody else.
Right.
And one day, the section man come around and said, HB, he was the boss man then. He said, you better brush every one of these rails. I said, okay, I'm going to brush them if they're behind when I get out and here at 3 o'clock for that other lady. That'll be all right with me. My husband said, it's a wonder they don't fire you. I said, well, it might be the best thing they ever done for me. I said, they ain't going to fire a good worker. But HB, he come up there in that other department that I was working. That was outside. That department was up the hill there from the mill.
Mm-hmm.
I was testing the yarn for him.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know how to do it, so the man I worked for taught me how to do it. And HB, he was the boss man when I retired. He was my boss man in the spinning room. He come up there one day to have some yarn checked. He said, I didn't know you were working up here. And that man I was working for, he said, well, she's a good worker, I'll tell you that. And he told him, he said, yes, and she's one of the best spinners I had. I hated to see her go. He told me that when I retired. He said, I hate to see you go because you're one of the best spinners I've got.
I guess you were good at it. You did it for a long time, huh? Now, so you stayed in the village, right? The whole time you were working at the mill.
Well, you know, when I first went to work, I would do everything everybody said, you know, about my job.
Mm-hmm.
And if the boss man would come and say something to me, I didn't say nothing back to him. I'd take everything. But I got tired of taking everything. So if they could dish it out, I learned to dish it back. You get along better, too, when you let a person know that you ain't going to take everything. It's hard to do, but when you ain't never been used to doing things like that. But I got tired of taking all the mess. So if they dished it out to me, I dished it back to them. My husband says, I wonder they don't fire you. I said, well, it might be the best thing they ever done for me.
Well, so did you lived in the mill village the whole time did you live in the mill village the whole time you worked?
Yeah, I ain't never lived nowhere else around here.
Well, how has the mill village changed much?
Oh, it's done a lot of changing. When I lived over on Spring Street, we had some running water, but it was cold. We didn't have no hot water. We had the heat in the fireplace with coal and wood. And Mr. Byron had a wood down here, right down there. He had wood hauled in there for his people. Mm-hmm. And he sold the wood to his people that lived on the village. And at Christmas time, he'd always give his help a turkey and a ham. Mr. Banner was a nice guy. He was good to his employees. And when, a lot of places, they'd go on short time. Well, he always looked after his people. And at Christmas time, he'd give them a turkey and a ham. And he always there was a big tree down there. I don't know where it's still down there or not, but it was a big tree down there in the office yard. And he always had that tree decorated at Christmas. Now that was pretty.
That's great.
But like I said, the Battles, they were good people to work for.
Now, did they have parties and that kind of thing for the mill workers too?
Well, I don't know, remember them they might have had some for the high up people, but I don't never remember having none for the people inside in the mill.
So, what was it like? You grew up in the mill village. What was it like growing up here?
Huh?
What was it like growing up here in the village, in the mill village?
Well, at Christmas time, they always give everybody, all the employees, a bonus. Plus your check that you work for. You always got a Christmas bonus. You always got a vacation in the 1st of July. The whole mill closed down. Everybody had a vacation. And sometimes they made, if they sold a lot of yarn and all companies, sometimes when they're selling stuff, they sell a lot, and then sometimes it slows down. But when they had a good sale and all, they always give us a extra check sometimes. But like I said, the Battles down there was good people to work for. And after Mr. Battle retired, then Tommy, his son, come down. And John Melvin, he was a good guy. He worked down there too.
Yeah.
I always thought about John, nice guy. But he come through the mill sometime, but he worked mostly up in the office. But Mr. Barrow, sometimes he would come through the mill, and sometimes Tommy would come through there. But when Tommy and Mr. Barrow come through there, some of the people would always run over there and stop him and talk to him. And it made him stop coming through there like he used to. But, and then they used to have a ball diamond down here. They had a ball team at the mill. My second husband, when he worked down there, when I was growing up, he used to play on the ball team. We used to go down there and sit in the ball diamond and watch them out there play.
Was your second husband? What position did he play? Do you remember?
Huh?
What position did he play at baseball?
I don't know. But I know they used to have a ball diamond. I used to go down there and sit up in them bleachers. They had a big old thing out there for you to sit in, and the people would be out there on the field playing.
Now, do you remember what was the team's name? Do you remember?
No. I was real young back then. I don't remember but I remember all that, because I used to go down there with you. And my daddy, I never did learn to swim. My daddy used to take us down there at the park, Sunset Park. There was a place over there at the river. We called it the Flat Rock. There was a great big rock out there in the river. And I didn't have no bathing suit.
Yeah.
My daddy let me put a pair of my brother's overalls on. And he'd take us down there, and we could wade out there to that rock, that big rock that sat in the river. I never did learn to swim. They used to have a park, swimming pool up here where the library was. Well, I used to go up there and sit and watch them swim, and the boys would get behind the girl and put them down, duck them down. That's why I wouldn't never go in the swimming pool. So I didn't feel like I could stand it. Somebody ducked my head on that water.
Now, did these parks belong to the mill, or were they just city
Huh?
park? Were these parks part of the mill? Did they belong to the mill, or are they just part of the city, or what?
What?
The parks you're talking about and the swimming pools.
The park up here.
Mhm.
I think that must belong to the city.
Mhm.
You know where the library is now?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Oh, back in there, they used to have a swimming pool up there. You had to pay to go in.
Mm.
And back there, down in there, they had swings. You could go out there and swing. I remember my mama taking me down there when I was a little girl and swing on their swing. And I go out there and sit and watch them in the swimming pool. And the boys come behind and take the girl. That's why I didn't never go in the swimming pool.
Now, was there a park that was right here at the mill, or that the most of the mill people
I
went
don't
to?
think that was no part of the mill. That must have belonged to the city.
Mhm.
I reckon. I don't know.
Yeah.
All I know it was up there. And a long time ago, see, they didn't have big trucks and all to haul the stuff away. They used to have the train to come in. They had a railroad crossing up here at this road.
Mm-hmm.
And the little boys would go out and get 2 nails and go out there and put them on the track. When they hear the whistle blowing, they have the nails. They'd go out there and put them like that, so when that train come across, it would mash them together. And that's how the mill hauled the stuff away. Because they didn't have trucks and all way back then. When I was growing up, they had that train to come. Yeah, they blew that train whistle. Would come right across the street up here, where this road is.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's where it would come right across there and go down here to the mill. There's been a lot of changes, you know.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Now they haul the stuff. When I was working, they'd haul it away on big trucks. But when I was growing up, they hauled it on a train. I hear the whistle blow a lot of times. Them little boys would run out there with them 2 nails and put them like that on it. And then they'd step by when that train come by.
Yeah.
They'd run back out there to see if it had mashed on together. And the
Now-
old train would do like that, you know.
Now, when you were growing up, was there a school in the village for the mill children, or where did you and brothers and sisters and neighbors go to school?
Where to go to school.
Mm-hmm.
Went to school right down here. I got a picture of it.
Okay. And that was in the mill village here.
Huh?
The school was right here in the mill
Let me
village.
see. I think I got it over here. Uh-huh. I got all my church books over here.
Mm-hmm.
I had that in an envelope. I was gonna get it out so I would have it to show you.
Mm-hmm.
I might have it in here. Yeah, this is it. I got wrote on here, this is the picture of the school I went to when I was a little girl.
Wow.
Got my name wrote down there.
And when did you start going to school there? When you were real young, or?
Oh, yeah, when there's a picture of it.
Oh, wow. That's
And
great.
see them 2 little boys sitting on the steps.
Yes, ma'am. Now, so, was it everybody from the mill village that went to school there? Was that it? Was just all mill children? Or?
Yeah, all that lived on the mill hill, the
Mhm.
children went to that school.
Mhm.
They had 7 grades down
That 7th grade, you said?
there. Yeah. And when I was promoted to the 7th grade, that's when they closed the school. Now, next year I would have been in the 7th grade. And they closed the school, and I'd have had to went to Bimini. So I quit. I would have been 16 in September, and I quit.
Mm-hmm.
I said I always wanted to be a nurse.
Uh-huh.
I said I wish my mama had whooped me and made me go on to school.
So you stopped going to school when you were 15 or 16.
But you know what? We had some good times down there in that school. They had a Halloween party down there one year, and I went. And I went by, and they said, "Here, take your good old eyeball." And you know, I wouldn't eat it. I first, and it was a grape. But we had some good times down there. That's the only school I ever went to.
Mm-hmm. Why do you reckon they shut it down? Or do you know? Or
I don't know why.
and you
See,
said
if they'd have had went on the next year, I would have went on and finished the 7th grade. But
yeah.
then the next year they won't gonna have no school down there. I was going to school down there in the 2nd grade when it caught on fire, and we had to go to school that year until they got the school fixed back down here at the Methodist Church.
Oh wow. How did it catch on fire? Do you know? Or
There's been a lot of things happening way back then.
it sounds like it. So you said when you stopped school, you weren't old enough to work in the mill yet. Then you know why they made you wait until you were 18, or that was just the rule then.
And my brother, he didn't never get to the 3rd grade. He quit before he ever got to the 3rd grade. Now he couldn't learn good, but he was good with his hands.
Mm.
He could do a lot of things. But, you know, you see some children that just can't learn. Yeah. And the boys was mischievous down there. Mm. In the 2nd grade, our teacher had her back turned to the blackboard writing on it. And we had a boy in our class that chewed tobacco. And down under our class, that's where they had the furnace to heat the school. Mm-hmm. And that man was a Mr. Bridges. He used to live right down the street here. And he come up there one day in our class, and he told my teacher, he said, "You got somebody in your class that's chewing tobacco or dipping snuff." He said, "Look at my hat. They got a hole up here and they spit on spit on my hat." Well, you know what? Nobody in that class told them who it was. The teacher asked, said, "Does anybody in here know who done that?" Nobody didn't say a word. Nobody told them people back then. We had some good times down there. That's the only school I ever went to. We had some good times.
Well, I don't want to take up too much more of your time, but do you have anything else that you hadn't told me that you want to tell me about living in the village or working at the mill up there?
Well, I enjoyed what I was doing at the mill, and I had some good boss men, and I had some that weren't too good. But if they dished it out, to start with, I didn't. I took everything, but I got tired of taking it, and I dished it back.
And you pretty much outlasted every one of them, huh?
Yeah, my husband said, "It's a wonder they don't fire you." See, when he got 65, they made him quit. Because, see, they wouldn't carry insurance on you after you got 65.
Oh, wow.
And he was in good health. He wasn't never sick. He used to have a lot of bad colds, but he wasn't never sick enough to go in the hospital. And he wasn't drawing much Social Security, about $100 and some. People gets a lot more Social Security now than they did when he retired. So he was working down there part-time, selling cars for Mr. Bandy down on North Church Street. And Mr. Bandy told him, said, cut your Social Security off and come down here and work full-time. So, see, he'd already worked down there till he was 65, and he was in good health. But they couldn't walk him down there because they couldn't carry no insurance on him.
Now, did he do the same, did he stay in the same department the whole time he was there? He was in the twisting room?
He worked the third shift all the years he worked. And when they drafted him in service when the war broke out, well, when he come back, he said he had a chance to go somewhere, well, he was stationed way off. He wasn't never stationed close by. He said he had a chance to go somewhere and work on the railroad. And he always liked the trains. He used to go up there and sit and watch trains come in. But when he got out, when the service, the war was over, he got out of the service. You know, they let him come home. He went back to work down there and worked till he was 65.
Why do you reckon you and your husband both worked at the mill so long?
Huh?
Why do you reckon that you and your husband both stayed at the mill for so long, the same mill, without switching jobs?
Well, he liked what he done. He'd go down. He worked the third shift, and he worked up in the twister room. They didn't have many women up there working. Most of them were men. They'd have one or two women working on it. But he'd go around and catch his work up and sit down and take him a nap. He worked. He didn't want it. They wanted to give him the first shift one time, but he didn't want it. He worked the third shift all the time until he was old enough. When he got 65, see, they made him quit because they couldn't carry the insurance on him no more, so he couldn't work no more. But then he went over there and sold cars. He was way on up. In his 70s, I think, when he finally quit selling cars. But when he'd sell a car, a man would come out there and ask him about it. If he knew anything about it, if it won't right, he'd tell the person. Because he told me, he said, I can quit any time and draw my Social Security back. He said, and I'm not allowed to nobody about no car to sell it. If I know there's something wrong with them, I'll tell them what's wrong with it. That's why he had a lot of customers. When people go down there, they'd always look for him. And he'd go down there to work and do his job, go around, catch his job up, and go back over there and sit down and take him a nap.
Doesn't sound like a bad job, huh?
Like I said, that was a good place to work. When Abbott's went out there, I told him one day, I said, I believe I'll go out to Abbott's and see if I can get me a job. He said, he's the cause of me not doing it. He said, well, I think you ought to stay down there where you're at. He said, because in the winter, if you go and get a job away from there, and you got to get a driver, get somebody to take you to work and come back and pick you up. He said, a lot of times you can't get to work. He said, and I think you're better off stay where you're at and not go to Abbott's. That's when Abbott's first moved, come here. So he's the cause of me not going to Abbott's.
Did you regret it ever, or you were glad to stay?
Yeah, because see, I worked another year after he died. Yeah. He was a lot older than I was. He had already retired, been retired a long time, and then he, after he got on up and older, he finally retired from selling cars. And I'd come home sometimes, he'd say, Ro, I mopped the kitchen today for you. I said, one day I come home, he told me he mopped it. Now, a day or two after that, I come home from work. He said, Lou, I mopped the kitchen. I said, well, you don't have to mop that kitchen every day. And sometimes he'd get the broom and sweep around the back door. He wanted to do something after he retired from selling cars. But, as long as we were married, he never was sick enough to be in the hospital. He never was in the hospital, but no sick. He was in good health. And I came from work. I had my cap sitting up and down that way then. And I came home from work. I had been out sick, and I had just gone back to work that week. I worked Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And when I come home that day, he told me, I come in here and sat down, and he said, when you get up and go back in the kitchen, he said, look in the refrigerator. I left him some money to buy some steak for supper. And I said, I already looked at it. I said, why'd you put that money on the table for you? I said, the steak cost more than what I give you. He said, well, I wanted to bring you some change back. And we sat down in here and talked. My brother was down here, and he got up and went home. And I had a friend that lived across the street over there. She wasn't married. She come over here. And my husband, he got up and went in the bedroom. He always come home, he had a pair of pants, he called his house pants. He'd change his good pants he had on, changed and sitting around in them clothes. And every day about 4 o'clock, he'd ride up to the train station, get us a paper. He'd sit up there and watch trains come in. He always liked the train. And that day he went in there and changed clothes. When he'd come up, go in there and change clothes, he'd come back there and stand there in the door and talk to me before he'd go out. But that day, I had another chair different than that one sitting over. That day, he'd come back in here and sit down after he had dressed to go out. And my friend over there, she was sitting over on the couch. And he asked her, he said, do you like cornbread? She said, yeah. He said, I don't. She had told me, she said, I thought he liked cornbread. I said, he does. She said, well, he said he did. And he said, he always called me Lou. He said, Lou, when I go out and get the paper, do you want me to go buy gardeners over yonder and get some collards and cornbread? I said, no, we got that steak in there to fix. And then my brother, he had already left and gone home. And then all at once he said something, and I was sitting over here. And I asked her, I said, what did he say? She said, I don't know, just like that. And I looked across the heater, and his head was thrown back, and his mouth was wide open. I jumped up and went over there to him. And I patted him like that and called him, but his eyes was wide open. He didn't say nothing. And she got up and went home. And I said, Lord have mercy, what am I going to do? And it seemed like something said, well, go in there and call your brother. He's just left. So I went in there. I had a phone in the hall then. I went in there and called him, and I was crying. He said, don't cry, I'll come right back. And he come down the street. He was fixing to shave. He had his shirt off. He come down the street putting his shirt on because he lived right up the street there from me. And before he left, he called the rescue squad. And I was still down there in front of him, trying to get him to say something. When they come in, they picked me up, put me on the couch. But my friend come back. She said she went home to get her glasses to see how to see the number to call the rescue squad. But my brother, he done that before he left home. And they come over there and was talking to me, and I said, he's gone. And that's how quick he died. But that sure was shocking. Because, see, I had been out about a month. I had been in the hospital, and I had just gone back to work that week. I worked Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. He died on Wednesday. Wow. That was sad. Shocking. I've had, like I said, I've had some good times, and I had some sad times, but in it all, I always had the Lord to help me.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, if you got the Lord, that's all you need.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I thank you for talking to me today. I'm gonna cut this off now.